Hi Virgo, Amanda here. Welcome to Unseen Hands Healing. This is going to be your small story here towards the end of October as we are, as of today, entering Scorpio season. All right, so for these small story readings, a book jumps off the shelf at me that wants to speak to you, that has a passage for you. I choose a passage at random and I'll speak that to you, read that to you, and then we will get into cards and jump into what the story has for you. Okay, so the book that wanted to speak to you today, Virgo, is actually pretty appropriate for Scorpio season because it's a book of psychological realism, sci-fi, slightly spooky stories, okay, by Carmen Maria Machado. It's called Her Body and Other Parties. Okay, so the feeling I have, even as I was flipping through the book, the feeling I got was very Plutonian. I mean, you know, we're entering Scorpio season, so that partly makes sense to me, but it felt specific for you, Virgo. It felt like sort of dredging things up. It almost felt like walking through a house in dream space. You know, when you're dreaming of walking through a house, walking through the rooms and rooms and rooms, and the house is obviously your grandparents' house, you know, something very familiar, but the rooms are slightly different. It had that sort of feel. Okay, underworld energy of the subconscious. Okay, so here we go. Reading this passage to you. I finished the day's work long after dark. The fog had burned away from midday, and now everything was clear and sharp. The moon was nearing fullness and glinted off the lake's waves, agitated by the wind. I set off through the trees, my feet crunching on rock. Everything shone with a thin, silvery light. I imagined myself a cat, night vision, illuminating what was otherwise secret. Pluto. The hotel glowed in the distance, a lighthouse beckoning me home. But then before me, liquid shadow spilled across my path, darker than the darkness. I tried to look past it, if I could reach the bench, if I could reach the other side of the trees, but the flatness of the dark in the intervening woods was a horror. I pulled my bag tightly to my side. You're a fool, I thought to myself. You've been reading too much and your mind is wound too tight. You've been drowning in memory. Also Pluto. Your wife, she would be embarrassed for you if she knew that you had drifted this far. But I could not take my eyes from the bench. The whiteness seemed transformed, as if it were no longer painted wood but bone. As if 1,000 years ago, some creature had climbed out of the lake and died in this exact spot in anticipation of my arrival. Around me, black bushes roiled in the wind, and I did not see thorns before touching one. It sank into my index finger, and I sucked the wound as I walked. Perhaps this blood offering kept whatever was nearby at bay. I sucked, and then at the other side of the shadows, the moonlight was restored. I did not look behind me. Pluto. Welcome to Scorpio season, Virgo. We're diving in. All right, clearly this is some deep dive, the things that go bump in the night kind of energy. You know, this is the energy of the moon card in the tarot. This is the energy of being under the influence of moonlight and what that can feel like, and it can sometimes feel shadowy, spooky, like you know, the feeling of what was that, or this feeling of like a shadow crosses your path and suddenly you're getting this feeling of something. I love that image of something crawling out of the lake and dying lifetimes ago so that you could come there to that bench at that moment and cross paths with that energetically. You know, it's just, there's major past life stuff, underworld stuff kind of coming up to the surface. It's all shadows and sensations, and the veil is thin. The veil is thin. Let's get into cards. We're using the Slow Holler deck for you today, Virgo. What is the message for Virgo today out of that passage? What is the message for Virgo today? One more. Okay. Got 4 cards, Virgo. It's interesting. I'll just show you and then we'll talk. Okay. I can never figure out how to orient this. It starts here. Okay. So 3 of Wands, 10 of Knives or 10 of Swords, 8 of Vessels, 8 of Cups, and the Architect of Stones, aka the King of Pentacles. Okay, so here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that flanked on either side of your reading here is this 3 of Wands, King of Pentacles energy, which feel very connected. This is you, Virgo, future thinking, future planning, looking into your future, thinking what's next, what comes next, what am I going to build and how am I going to build it? You know, it's like the 3 of Wands is also very much speaking to, oh, interesting synchronicity with the thorns based on the passage I just read where a thorn pricked her finger, the blood offering. So much ancestral energy too present in the feeling I felt from you, like in your dream space, walking through a familial house, all of the rooms in a familial house, and then the whiteness of the bench turning from wood to bone in the moonlight, and then the blood offering of the finger, thorn pricking the finger. I'm like, okay, whoa. So what we have in this card is a journey. It's a journey towards the horizon here, towards the sun. You can see the winding road or river here. Into the distance, into a point on the horizon. You're looking out towards that point, and here's where you've come from. Bare bones, right? Bare branches, thorns, couple of buds, but mostly thorns, and I think you're here now. You're at this crux point, Virgo. You're at this turning point where your ship is orienting in this new direction, and I mean, gosh, this new direction has incredible promise. Look at all of those, you know, those blooms popping off in this really gorgeous way. But you're at this point, you know, it's like, it's hard, it's tough to make that turn. There's a lot to navigate here as you reorient yourself. And you are getting further and further away from the thorns of your past, but you are having to navigate this corner right now. And I think part of navigating that corner in Scorpio season, as we are about to embark on a Mercury retrograde, okay, which we will get deeper into in the November shift readings that are coming up next week. So stay tuned. But you're navigating this corner turn here, Virgo. And it's gnarly. It's a little bit gnarly. But again, flanking your reading is this future, looking towards the future with hopeful expectations. You can see where you've been and you can see where you're going, and it looks like where you're going feels really lush and blooming with creativity and passion and excitement. And here you are, you know, on the other side of turning that corner. Here you are as the King of Pentacles. Here you are as the Architect of Stones, the architect of your life, catching comets and bringing them onto your planet to cultivate this new world. I'm seeing this as like this person has newly landed on this planet, you know, with like nothing but a ladder and their own ingenuity. And so here they are when the comets, when the meteor shower comes, they're like, okay, it's time. And they climb up on that ladder, and actually now I'm sort of seeing it as the little prince. You know, the little prince catching a shooting star and sailing away. The Little Prince. If anybody knows that reference, please comment. I frickin' love you. Dun, 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 dun. We'll catch a shooting star and sail away. Okay, I know a lot of people know The Little Prince, but that little jingle is from a very particular version of The Little Prince that I happen to be partial to. But anyway. Okay, so here you are, the little prince, ready to be the architect of your life. And I think maybe you've got to sail away to a new planet in order to do that. And it's like the timing has to be right. You're waiting for some sort of meteor shower. Oh, interesting. The Eight of Wands is a meteor shower, essentially. Whoa. Yeah, you're waiting for the Eight of Wands. You're waiting for the go. The sign that says, yes, go now, forward movement, the incoming. You're waiting for incoming communication or an incoming message that gives you the go ahead. You're waiting for the meteor shower. And once it starts, you got your net and you're reaching up and you're going to, dang it, you're going to catch one of those comets, those meteors, those shooting stars, and you're going to be off. But in the meantime, like I said, you're navigating the cricky corner, and it kind of looks like this. Right? Ouchie. 10 of Swords and 8 of Cups, which I actually really love because this is essentially, to me, this is all that. This is the passage that we read. Being under the influence of the moonlight, under the light of the full moon, everything is wild and the Plutonian energy is pulled upwards, and this like ancestral energy as well. It's like everything, past life stuff, you know, it's like everything is up for you right now, Virgo. The veil is thin. You're picking up on some spooky shit that you may or may not be able to interpret. Okay, I do encourage you that if you're experiencing some wild stuff and feeling that energy and you don't have someone to talk to who has experience in that area, find someone, okay? Maybe I could be that resource for you. Reach out. Go to my website, okay? But all of this, all of this energy is being dredged up for you to essentially process before you take off, before you begin building this new phase of your life, which has like incredible promise. I want you to just also look at the shootings, the meteor shower and the red blooms. It's like they're one and the same here. They're talking to each other color-wise. Okay, so we have the 10 of Swords, which is an ending of a painful cycle for you. And that's what I feel with the thorns. Oof, this painful cycle, this blood offering, this version of you that has crawled up out of the lake and died on this bench lifetimes ago, that you are here to help transition and process and move that part of you on. You know, like move that part of your spirit, your iterations, your incarnations or whatever, that pain, move that forward and end the cycle. Tens are endings of cycles. Okay, so you're ending a painful cycle, yay, and you're moving on. 8 of Vessels, and the 8 of Vessels, you know, essentially we're seeing, here we go with the moon. There's that moonlight, and it's almost looking like eclipse energy here. And the energy feels eclipse energy. Okay, it does. It feels that big. It feels like that big of a transition, of a moment, of a things coming to light in like a wild new way. Okay, and maybe, you know, maybe we're talking about the new moon coming up here. New moon, full moon energy here in Scorpio season. But essentially, and really I am speaking in Mercury retrograde terms here for those who know what I'm talking about, the dredging up of things to be processed and released. That is absolutely retrograde energy. So here these eyes are shedding tears, mourning into these bottles, crying tears, because essentially it's time to move on. You know, eight of vessels is a card of moving on, of walking away from something that you have invested a lot in emotionally, and it's a difficult moving on, just like the Ten of Swords, difficult ending, difficult moving on, emotionally difficult, but very necessary for you to get where you're going, for you to get to these blooms. And that's why it feels to me like rounding this corner is ouchy. You know, rounding this corner is like gristly, like ouch, 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 ouch. Thorn bushes, thorn bushes, thorn bushes. And then, you know, you emerge, the comet comes, you catch it, and you're off. Okay, so the future does look really, really bright here, but you're in this messy middle. You're in the middle of it. You're in the thick of it here, literally in the thicket. And that is what is needed in order to truly end these cycles and move on in some way, okay? And I'm feeling this as very, very deep energy. So it might be, I mean, it might be cycles that are very, very old, that again, are maybe things coming up. The veil is thin, you know? This could be things coming up that are not even nameable for you, all right? I'm really feeling that energy. So really interesting, Virgo. I'm going to keep pulling cards. So if that's something you're interested in, I'm going to keep pulling from this deck. I'm going to use the Dark Exact to clarify, get some oracle cards. So if you're interested, if this is your story and you'd like some clarity on that, further clarity, stick around. I'll have a little tiny clip here at the end of this video for you to see if the extended reading is resonating for you. If it is, click the link below, follow me over to Vimeo where you can view that extended reading instantly, okay? So if that's of interest to you, do it. And regardless, Virgo, thank you so much for tuning in and for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. When do I receive? That's the feeling here, which is like such Virgo energy. So let's clear for the Architect of Stones and a little bit of the Three of Wands here. Like, what are you, cards everywhere. What are you looking forward to? What are you feeling is coming your way? What are you hoping to catch? You know, I felt this Eight of Wands incoming energy. What are you waiting for? What's the getaway card? What are you looking forward to here? I love that. Wow, the Eight of Wands. What did I say, y'all? The veil is thin, okay? That's all I have to say. The veil is really thin. It's a choice between, here's the Eight of Cups again, having to move on from something. Whatever this choice is, it's asking you to move on from the Eight of Cups, move on from something that you've invested in emotionally in order to find your Nine of Cups, emotional satisfaction, in order to find what really satisfies you. And it's essentially, I think what this Lovers is it is the chance to do that. The Chariot, which is essentially your vehicle out of here. It is your chariot whisking you away in some way. I love this version of the Chariot. Oh my God, Dark Exact Tarot, you beautiful, beautiful being. The key to the heart, the Chariot. I love the Chariot as the key to your heart, and I'm feeling this as the key to unlocking your heart,